Hello and welcome back to the Summer Game Jam. We've got another workshop coming up for you. It's a pretty big day in terms of workshops. We were supposed to have two. We were supposed to have three. We actually only have two now. But the Send Arcade workshop will happen sometime next week. We're still working out the time for that, but we're looking forward to that. And today we have two workshops. So we have one coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern time. That is going to be how to build an on-chain world. That's going to be led by Kamagotchi. So make sure you join that. But right now we're having a workshop on AI for game dev with ImgnAI. So I'm going to bring Russell on, and yeah, they're going to take you through. Hey, how's it going?
Everyone. Thanks a million for the intro, mate. Yeah, so we're going to be talking game dev with AI, and in particular, we're going to be showing off how you can use the ImgnAI platform to, I guess, empower your game dev, whether that be running your primary LLMs, whether it be generating assets or images for use in games such as sprites, or if you want to create a quick trailer to show off your game. We're going to go through the whole lot of it, and we're going to show you as well how you can use some of those models with Klein. So that's a Visual Studio extension that you can install, or a Visual Code extension, and that will allow you to essentially hit all of the ImgnAI endpoints where we've got every LLM that you could possibly want. We've got everything from Fable 5, we've got Solve 5.6, and we've got all the open source models as well, inclusive of our own open source model, which is it's based on the Quen architecture. We've got it fully obliterated. So this is essentially your unrestricted and uncensored LLM. If you're building something special in the games world that needs some specialized knowledge. So yeah, I'm happy to jump in just as I guess a quick formality on it to give an introduction of myself. I'm Russell. I'm the lead developer at ImgnAI. We've been building for about 4 years now, and we're building on the base chain, but we also support several chains on our X402 integrations, which I'll run through while showing off the API itself. So you can hit it on X402, or you can hit it with your standard OpenAI compatible key and secret. We've been building AI tooling for about 4 years now, but we've all been working in, I guess, the tech space and moreover the crypto space since I think about 2013. I entered initially, I was a developer on one of the original coins. I was the first dev to come on board with Dogecoin, and that started my love-hate affair with crypto from that date. One of the largest things for myself, and even if you look back on Reddit, like, way over 10 years ago, to see us talking about Dogecoin, on-chain gaming was a huge interest of mine. At the time, we didn't have smart contracts or really anything that was trustworthy. A lot of people that went to build on-chain games, unfortunately, usually built something that was either unintentionally malicious or deliberately malicious. Nowadays, we live in an age of the smart contract where everything can be fully on-chain. Inco as well have some amazing tools that you can put to use for doing all that stuff. And you can build true on-chain games that are fair to the users, that can, make essentially player risk and reward known at the offset. And, well, the nature of smart contracts, you build it well, you open source it, and people can have trust that your smart contract is there to empower the enjoyment of a game, and not there to do us the games of very olden days did, where they might suddenly vanish overnight and your assets go missing. So yeah, big props to Inco for having us on, and thank you in particular for reaching out to ourselves, show off ImgnAI. We always love to see more people using it, and for anybody that is listening in today, if you make an account on ImgnAI, we'll be happy to top you up with a couple of credits to get started and start building games through that. So yeah, that's the quick intro of myself and ImgnAI. We'll go into, I guess, a bit more detail on the platform itself. But on your side, are you going to stick with us, SPD, or?
No, I'm going to hand over right now. So yeah,
Cool.
you can take the reins.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, everyone. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is ImgnAI itself. So let me get my screen shared out. And we'll have any questions that you have, you can throw it onto, we've reposted the Inco stream. So if you want to drop any comments on there, if you do have questions, we'll be happy to jump on that and answer any of them at the end of this call, or end of the stream even. So let's see. Great. So you should be all seeing the ImgnAI platform now. So that's imgnai.com, and just throw the app in front of it. If you just go to ImgnAI.com, you'll just get our landing page. This is going to be switched over in the next couple of days. So you'll just be brought straight to this screen where you can see everything that everyone is creating. So a quick intro on ImgnAI itself and how you can just use it directly through the browser to build up your assets or anything like that. So it's a generative AI platform, as you can likely tell from a quick glance at it. We have a range of both third-party models, which are your frontier models. If we hit generate, we can show them off. So GPT Image 2, we've got that on max, and we also have it on standard settings here. Nano Banana 2, we have Anima Pink, which is one of our in-house models. This is based on Anima. It's a fine-tune that we run on top of it. We've got Anima as a base, that's Circle Stone Labs. If any of you, I guess, are in the more kind of stable diffusion advanced scene, you've likely seen Anima kind of take over the last couple of months. That's become a new kind of, I guess, base model of choice. Seedream 5.0 and everything like after this point, then you've got, well, still a couple of the frontier models, Nano Banana 2 Lite, but then you've got our own models on top of it. So all of our own models, there are free modes available on it if you'd like to test it out. But if you want to get those images, without a watermark, and you want to get it on a decent, in a decent, timely manner, we have a premium mode available that can get it down to you very quickly. As you might have seen there pop up at the end, there's also a tip received. So the platform is built in with the ImgN token. That's our base network token. If you post content on there, you're publishing, then users can tip you, and also our automated reward system will tip you every couple of hours as well, just based on the amount of views that your traffic or views and traffic that your published content has generated. So our main kind of proprietary model right now, our in-house model, will be Pink Image. It's extremely affordable. If you throw it on the high quality setting, it's 1 credit per image. 1 credit is equal to about half a cent. So if you were to run this on, you wanted 4 images of what have you, anything, then you're looking at 4 credits, which is 2 cents. And it's a relatively high quality model. It works well with reference images. It's excellent for iteration and speed. But you may want something a bit more specialized depending on what kind of style that you're going for. Now, again, it is a good model, but unless you're editing images, it may not be the first choice that you want to run with. Our other models, a lot of these are based off, so the old stable diffusion models. We switch off to premium models, we can show you one here. Yeah, so if you know your stable diffusion prompting, great. These are very quick to jump in with. We run up to full native 4K quality. It's actually a bit above 4K. This is our own internal system that we built out to kind of push SDXL-based architectures to, well, their absolute limits. Now, if you don't know how to do stable diffusion-based or Danburo-based prompting, we have a prompt assist on here. Just switch it on, and you can type whatever you want in plain English. So we'll just throw it on high quality, and we'll do a quick generation. So let's say we want a black cat sitting on a rooftop, aurora in the sky, stunning shot. And we've got a range of resolutions that we support on here. We'll just run this in the standard 1:1 square 2048 by 2048. So again, there is a 4K option available as well. It does take a little bit longer to run, but the quality does take a decent jump up on it. But while we're running this stream, we'll try and stick to the quick options, so that we can just kind of move it along, show you how everything is working. Now, while this is generating, it typically takes up towards about 45 seconds to 1 minute to get images back on a high quality preset, but the prompt assist can add a little bit to it as well. So for iterating, it's often better to just run with fast mode. And for everything else, then you have high quality, and then you have your 4K quality. While you're waiting, you can return to the home page, take a look around at what other people are publishing on there. Some people reveal their prompts on it, so you can see what they're actually making them with. You can see here, if you like this character, they've revealed their prompt. You can copy it, and you can run it yourself, and you can change it up a little bit if you want anything else in there. See if so this person has hidden their prompt. We can see, yeah, a good Metroid image. It's pretty cool. It's using Anima Pink, one of our in-house models. Also a great way to be able to see what kind of styles you can expect from any of the models that are on here just by checking out what's on trending. And obviously video models are fully running on it as well, which we'll take a look at in a second. But these have all run. This is on the Annie preset. So this is your anime style cat sitting on a rooftop with an aurora in the background. So let's say we wanted to get, a different style on that. I think Pixel would work well. We're in a game development one after all. So we'll put this on portrait mode, improve my prompt. Everything is set up. So 10 credits in total, which is about 5 cents. And that brings in every image then. So while that's loading up, once again, we can take a look around the full platform. I'm just going to show you some of the other tools on here. So you can go into your history, where you'll be able to see everything that you built, everything that are all of your posts that you've put up in the past. This is a GPT image 2 one. We have C Dance. This is our, get that turned down. This is C Dance 2.0 running in 4K mode. So yeah, we've got a lot of the prompts on there, or a lot of models on here, from the very cheap and effective to, well, the highest end models, which would be your stuff like C Dance at 4K. So you can see here that you can go into your history. This is me just playing around earlier. We've got another image on here, which was similar to the one we're generating at the moment. This is one where we're looking at building a video out based on some images. And then we just have some images without the title on it. So yeah, that's pretty cool on Pixel. I like that. Let's save this one. We're going to use it once we move into Visual Studio, our Visual Studio Code, and show you how we can, actually get it directly into the workflow. So before we jump into that, just a quick look at some other models that we've got on here. So under video, you've got Seedance 2.0, Seedance 2.0 Mini, Gemini Omni, you've got Happy Horse, 2.7. Like pretty much all the frontier models are on here right now. And I believe Minimax just released H3 earlier today. So we'll be hoping to get that up on our platform very soon. If you need a legacy model, you can switch this on. You shouldn't, but for any reason, if you want to get some of the older, clunkier looking stuff on here, all the legacy models are supported. So if you have assets that you've already built out with one of these older models, they will always still be supported on there. But typically, we will hide it behind this because we don't want you coming in brand new and thinking, Kling 1.5 is what you should be making your videos with. Modify is another part of the toolkit. Is for editing images that you've already created. So we can do this directly through our history as well. So we go into this and we want to, let's say we want to modify this image, change something up about it. So let's change the sky maybe. Let's click modify at the bottom. Again, you can pick any model. Pink image is essentially the cheap, fast, iterative model. But then you have your stuff like GPT Image 2 Max, Nano Banana 2, Seedream 5.0, essentially the big boys. But what we're looking for is not too complex. So let's just say change the sky in the background to red. Keep the pixel style. So there's enhanced and high quality available on Pink Image. The enhanced quality brings it up to, I think it's about 1 cent an image. High quality, then you've got your half cent an image. I'm happy enough using high quality on it, but if you want to get, I guess, some finished game assets, so you want stuff at the highest quality possible, you can always pick the enhanced quality on it. Now, high quality on Pink Image is generally pretty quick. You're going to get your images back within about 30 seconds usually. So there we go. So as you might have noticed as well with Modify, now these all do come out a little different to give you a bit of variety if you do want that in your images. So, you can flick through, pick which one you think looks best. Quite like this one, we'll take that. If you go into the edit on it, you can very quickly change that down to, you don't want 4 to pick from, you just want 2 or even just want 1. You can set your batch size on there and it'll update the price in real time. So you can get your 1 credit straight on it. Now, there's also the last thing that we show on image models. If you bring up one of our older models on here, so let's say Synth is pretty cool. If you wanted to bring this up and you say, you have an image that you already want to use with it, you can jump under the advanced settings, turn on use base image, and anything could be thrown in there. You can look through a more extended history on it as well. So let's bring her in. So image that we built earlier. You can also upload, of course. And let's say we just want to redraw this in the style of the synth model, which is kind of a synth wavy anime style. It's nearly difficult to kind of give the full description of it, but this is kind of the best way to see it. Have a look at the thumbnail. Thumbnails will always show you what kind of art style that the model is specialized in. And obviously our, big models like GPT, Image 2 and Max, etc., you just prompt for the type of style you want. But yeah, let's say we want to take this one, throw it into high quality. We don't want prompt assist on this. We'll just go with a straight down burrow tagging. And we're essentially just going to tag what's in the image already. So just go for woman, red hair, ponytail, glasses, field, sky. So basically give a quick description of what's in the image. And I guess pink tank top. And so this is a great way to be able to, I guess, if you want everything in a very similar art style, which, let's be honest, in game development, you do, this is a great way to start doing that. Now, we're only running with one image here. Hopefully, it will be a good one. But typically, when you're doing this with, putting in a base image on one of those models to kind of draw on top of, you want to typically do up to 4 of them at any one time, as sometimes you get a good result, sometimes you don't. We'll see which this one pops out as, hopefully good. So while this is loading up, and we'll give a brief history of, I guess, the game development that our team has jumped into in the past. So game development isn't alien to any of us. As was said, over 10 years ago, we were looking at, how can we do game development on Dogecoin rather than, how can we do it on just smart contracts? That actually came out pretty cool. So, yeah, our team has been lucky enough to work with, I guess, the enterprise tech companies at, the highest level of boredom. And we've also been lucky enough to jump into both indie game development and mid-sized studio game development. I worked in a mid-sized studio over in Germany for about 2 years. We released a couple of popular mobile games. I got to self-publish on Steam myself. And this, of course, was all in the days before we had generative AI to help out in that. One of the biggest struggles that I had at that time in doing games development was, I could code for 12 hours a day, no problem. When it came to doing art assets, I might as well have been using MS Paint. Now, I did learn how to use Blender, how to do texturing, stuff like that. I got things looking passable, but I was very reliant on the Unity Asset Store at the time, which I imagine a lot of you might be as well. This has something that has completely taken that away now. If I want something, quick, I can just get a generative AI version of it, and we can build out prototypes with that, essentially use it as programmer art. I know a lot of people also use higher end models as well. They build out their final art with stuff like that. Now, there is a little bit of, I guess, an argumentative side kind of breaking out in that of, is generative AI okay to put into games? And look, depending on where you get your opinions from, some people will tell you it's absolutely fine. Other people will tell you it's awful. It should only be used for placeholder art and you should build out from there, etc. I'm not in the latter camp. I'm going to be honest. A lot of the stuff that I'm seeing here, like, this looks better than, now granted, it's got that funky art style that we picked from synth, but that looks a lot better to me than a lot of this, anything I'd make myself to start. We'll just try it with Aura as well. We'll get up 3 of them. Better than anything I would build to start, but far more importantly than that, when it comes to working with assets that you download from the asset store, or having to pick up a quick pack on Fiverr or anything like that, I think it also beats the vast majority of those too. And a lot of you have likely seen, on Steam, we had that deluge of games where they're all using a very similar low poly pack that you could pick up from the Unity Asset Store. I think if you have something like this in your game, I will at least put a bit of appreciation into the effort of building out your own AI assets and making something look the way you want it to look with the tools that are available. I also don't really buy into this whole, if it's AI, it looks like slop. Okay, so let's take a look at this. There's a few things that fix up. The tank top doesn't make a lot of sense. The hair, I think, actually looks great in this one. Glasses look well on it. The neck, if you, well, if you're going with kind of a cyborg look, it's great. Otherwise, do a bit of work on it. This work can be done either in, Photoshop. So if you can use Photoshop, that's great. Or you can use it in a model. So yeah, this stuff is all like, this is all stuff that I would really look at, where can I bring AI into this workflow to make it start looking better? As you can see here, we've got the actual aura loaded up in it. Apologies. I'm getting bombarded with a couple of text messages here. Let me close that. Apologies. Okay, back on. So yeah, if you can have a look at this, I mean, we've changed this into a consistent art style, which I think that this personally is very suitable to have in a finished game. You may disagree with that. If so, please drop a comment on that stream link that we posted out. Would love to hear it. But me personally, I think that, the field kind of stops abruptly there, but there's nothing major I could see in this would kind of scream at me, AI stop, or anything like that. Now, again, it's opinionated. You might prefer to take this as just, prototype imagery, get, an artist draw on top of it later, or, hand it off to an artist that you're working with to improve upon or put your style into it, etc. But these are all the tools that we make available for doing all of this stuff. And look, how you use the tools and how you use them to your advantage is something I believe comes down to an individual developer. I think there's games that can be made with this kind of art style that I think would look incredible, or you can go in and just put no effort into it and everything looks different. And yes, then it looks a bit sloppy. A lot of it, again, comes down to your ability as, a creator to put all of these things together and make them look cohesive in the same environment. And ImgnAI gives you all of the tools that you need to do stuff like that. As I said, we have videos on here too. You can go into Seedance. You can pick in your reference frames. So, let's say we want her, and we also want her. And we'll just get a quick 720p video, and we can take the characters from image 1 and image 2, place them in a field together, have them run into the distance together to take off on an adventure. Simple. Make it 5 seconds. Just get it in landscape. Generate up. Yeah, we got 2 of them. See which one comes out best. Extremely simple way to get a little cutscene or an intro scene or anything like that. And again, using the models that we have available, that was with Seedance 2 and Seedance 2 Mini. I think that was, 110 credits per video. So you're looking at about 55 cents to get a video back. And typically you want to generate, 2 of them, or maybe, you want to do a re-roll on it, get some extras on it if you want to change things around. But oftentimes you can just generate 1 and it will come back perfectly usable for you. And at the price that you're working with, I think that's an extremely powerful proposition. So this is something that we gave one of our developers a little bit earlier. So sorry, not one of our developers. This is our graphics designer that we gave a little bit earlier, who never built a game in his life. He's not a developer. He only picked up Codex, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we essentially just gave him the API to hit our backend with and said, yeah, just use this, plug it into Codex or what have you, and have it make a game. So he said, okay, fine. He just basically prompted for create a couple of images of, now you can see the sprites are a little bit jumpy through, but this was a one-shot prompt that he ran. And this was, simple enough, side-based beat 'em up. And I guess fully custom out to, you've got your cat and your Spartan gear. You've got a Persian to fight against. You got base controls that are implemented into it. The game logic all works. This was one-shot prompt that was built in about a minute, inclusive of all graphics that were generated through ImgnAI. The LLM itself, he put it through Codex, but if you wanted to use that directly through ImgnAI, you can also do that through ImgnAI Katana. And that is what I'm going to show you next. cat.imaginai.com. And so this is our Katana API. This is everything that's on ImgnAI except available directly through an API. You can use this through an OpenAI compatible API, or you can use it more directly through uh, X402, which is essentially a one shot if you want to just pay in crypto and get your result directly. That allows for fully anonymous access if you are interested in that, but it does require a little bit more work to actually get functioning and stuff like, Klein and stuff like that. So if we take a look at the text models on here, this is QNIFU A3B. This is based on Quen A3B. This is fully obliterated and fine-tuned by our team for roleplay and agentic use cases. If you're looking to generate dialogue for a game and you want to tackle some more adult topics, if you want to talk about, well, I won't mention it. I won't mention it on this stream. But if you wanted to talk about something in the more adult kind of, a darker world and stuff like that, this is an excellent model for getting that kind of material. Now, this model, like I said, it's fully uncensored and unrestricted. What you put into it is what you get out of it. So we always recommend, you can even see on here, we have a warning, fully uncensored and unrestricted. It has no safety guards. They have been removed. Never try to get legal or medical advice on it. It should be treated as fantasy. For building stuff in the game development world, it is perfect. It's fantastic if you want to build out anything that tackles kind of, any adult material or darker material, stuff like that. So, if you've got a true crime novel coming up, excellent to use. Following on from there, then we've got our frontier models. I will include ImgnAI in those frontier models, a fantastic open source model released by Moonshot AI very recently, which came in at, if you look at the cost on here for 1 million input tokens, it's coming in at the moment at about $3.06. Now, we run through a couple of different providers and always try to find the cheapest endpoint that we can possibly route you through to allow you to use these APIs. Now, ImgnAI was essentially coming in as the powerhouse at the lowest price possible, but then OpenAI came out and lowered the price of essentially everything. Where GPT 5.6 Sol, I've also got the Pro mode on here. That's about $5 per 1 million input, which that's extremely good for the quality that you're getting. Their biggest discount though is on Luna and Luna Pro, which is now down to 10 cent for 1 million input tokens, which we always consider, we're running our QNIFU model at a very low cost. But what has been done recently by OpenAI to lower the costs of Luna, Terra, is absolutely incredible. For coding, Luna is extremely strong. I'd put it at a GPT 5.4 max level. And I would say Terra is a little bit stronger again. And that's their mid-tier model. But for coding in particular, it tends to get things right, oftentimes just first time. Sol is the frontier model. It's much more expensive. It's coming in about 5 times more expensive than Terra, and obviously much more expensive than Luna. But this is your frontier model. If you need it to be correct first time and you don't mind, waiting a bit longer for the reasoning process that happens in GPT 5.6, excellent model to use. If you click on any of these cards, you essentially get the full overview of it. We'll tell you what's supported with it, reiterating any costs that are on it as well. There's also a minimum charge of 0.1 credits per call. Now, normally any call you do is going to run over 0.1 credits per call. But just in case you're sending off a quick test or anything like that, just be aware. This is about 0.1 credits. So yeah, if 1 credit is half a cent, it's not an amount to worry about. It's just to ensure that, nobody's hammering the endpoints and making it unusable for you. So we have tools and tool choices which are supported on this model. With all frontier models, they are supported. That essentially means that, Sol is able to, do web requests and actually search for things to give you the correct answers back on what you want in a more modern context. So it's not going to come back and say, install Python 2 or anything like that. It's going to know everything that's modern and available today. 5.6 also supports, images. So we can use the imagery content parts, and it also supports files being sent through as well. So if you need to upload any text files or anything like that, this is all supported on these models. You've also got full access to our image model library on here. So we've, as you can see, you can just open up the card as we normally did before, and it will let you know, what's actually available to use in it. Now, one of the more important parts of this is your reference images. If you want to use references, as in, you have one character and you want to put them in multiple images, which we show you on the web app, this is the important part of it. Now, that's one of the most common use cases for making sure you keep a character consistent between scenes. And if you go over here on the filter, you can ensure that you're filtering only by models that support these reference images. Video models, again, you can have your reference images, you can have a first frame or a last frame, you can have audio and reference video if you need to do any edits to your video. So if anything ever comes out wrong in a video, Gemini Omni V2V is fantastic for just putting a quick prompt in and saying, yeah, I need this character removed, or I need their hair turned pink, anything like that. As you can see on CDance Mini, you put it on 480p mode, and we look at the actual credit costs on it. There we go. So you can get a 5-second video on 480p for 26 cents. So it's become extremely affordable compared to, if any of you use the Unity Asset Store back in the day, or you might even still be using it today, you would never get any content like this for 26 cents. If you want video clips, you're going to get something generic, and usually you're going to be paying at least, $5 to $10 for a pack, and hopefully what you want is in there. If not, you'll be buying the assets individually, trying to render it out in Blender. When you're working with especially what you want to be, prototype files, and particularly for a game jam where you don't want to spend all of it building out art assets, this is an absolute godsend, in my opinion. It can get you to production level quality for extremely low pricing. And as noted, ImgnAI has, we've built out a lot of stuff on our end to make sure that we're finding the cheapest models that we can route you to at any time. If you're to compare this to, one of the leading X402 providers, we're coming in at 1/3 of the cost of them on a lot of frontier models. I believe they're about 300 or 400% more expensive on calling GPT Image 2 on base settings, which you can see for yourself here. I think it's about, this is standard pricing on it, so we can grab the pricing from here. So yeah, about 7.2 cents per image, or 14 credits per image. And that supports, a massive amount of reference images too. So yeah, we've made everything available at a cost that should be one of the lowest that you're able to find, if not the lowest that you're able to find. And we do that through intelligent routing on our back end to, find what frontier API providers are providing these at the lowest price. Or in other cases, we're hosting them ourselves, which is allowing us to basically run them, as close to cost as we possibly can. So it's why we're able to do this stuff like 4K imagery on an SDXL model for, it's a 1 cent for high quality, 2 cents then for a full 4K image, and we prompt assist and everything else on top. We've built out all of these workers for maximum quality and the highest speeds possible that we can get for that. For X402, we support various different chains. The most recent that we've introduced is Meso. So if you're our 100% Bitcoiner and you want to keep it all on that side, Meso chain is supported, and you're able to use MUSD through that. So stake your Bitcoin, get your MUSD, and you can then immediately start calling the X402 API for any model at all. The simplest way to use this is just hit the copy for LLMs up in the corner. You can also hit the LLMs.txt and just copy paste from here. Paste that into your LLM of choice, be that ChatGPT, Claude, or you can even set up, one of the ImgnAI hosted text models, and then that will pull in everything that you need from there. And sorry, I'm seeing a notification from one of my teammates, Meso. We have issues with pronouncing things incorrectly, and they just kind of get stuck in our heads, which is why I believe the guys from Meso are still calling it ImgnAI. But if that helps you remember the name, go with ImgnAI. Works well. But you can hit up our API at cat.imgnai.com or cat.imgnai.com, and then have a look at any of the endpoints on here. If you want to connect by a very standard API key way of doing it, you can just enter in your API key and API secret here, which we will build on our front end. So this video completed, I believe, quite a while ago, probably about 10 or 15 minutes ago at this stage. We can have a look at what it showed up with. Run forward and then run back, not great. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, so the second one would obviously be my pick of that. As this is why I say generally generate two that run forward and then run back. If you were to put that in a game, yeah, I would say that's slop. I mean, flowers disappear at the same time. I don't think that's a great video. But when you're talking about 25% a video, you generate two, pick up this one here on the right. I think it looks great. I mean, that's, in my opinion, at production level quality. So this is kind of the downside of AI at the moment. Now, granted, it's gotten a million times better for it, and oftentimes you can just one shot and you'll get it correctly. But there are still iterations required in this. And look, it's going away over time. When you're using Kling 1.5, which is only, what, 2 or 3 years old now, you would generate 10 videos and maybe two of them would be useful, but then you would have to slice them and try and put the two of them together to get one usable video that, didn't look like pure slop from it. You would have no audio and there'd be no reference images that you could use, just the first frame image. This is built with two individual images, and we just said, look, this prompt is in no way, a great prompt. You're just saying, take characters in these images, put them in a field together, have them run into the distance together to take off on an adventure. Pretty basic. If you, study up on your prompt engineering, or you even ask one of our LLMs to write you a better prompt, it likely will get you a one shot straight away. One quick example I can give here is if you wanted exactly that, the characters turn to each other, they hold hands, they run into the distance facing away from the viewer, and you'd probably get this first time. So for running it directly through the API, now I'm going to create an API key on here, but I'm going to be revoking it immediately. So if you want to try and look quickly and get one call in, go wild, but it'll be revoked pretty fast. And I'll be bringing in my own keys that I have quite hidden to show you the results on it. So just create API key. So there it is. You get your cat live, and then you get your actual secret on it. You can use it on the on-site playground as well if you wanted to. We'll close that off, and it is now revoked. So if you got a call in that time, congratulations. But once you have that API key and secret, as normal, store it somewhere safe, either in 1Password or LastPass, or just put it straight into an env that you want to use for your application. Once you're done with that, you can pop in here, drop into, let's say, pink image again. You put in your API key and secret. So I am going to quickly turn off the actual screen share on this one, and I'm going to pop in my key and secret. API creds. Okay, and we'll share again. There we go. So my key is in just above that with the API key and the API secret put in. And again, we just put in whatever we want here. So sure, let's go with the default, a clean product image of a ceramic mug on the table. Put on standard quality, hit submit, it'll poll for you. And if you want to just get the, if this is the request you want, and you just want to change up the prompt in it, you can easily just copy and paste from here and hit the API endpoint with that. So we have a couple of cool things that run on top of this whenever you're putting in an image request directly against our API. And once this request comes back, we'll give you a quick look at that. And while that's running, I'm going to take a quick swig of my cup of tea. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's still running on it. So this is a little bit longer for a run to go on pink image. We might change it up there. And yeah, we'll pop it into, let's see. We'll go with Annie. So we're going to, again, just put in the same type of request on it. Output format, we can get this in JPEG. Standard, let's put it on fast. We get it on half res. And obviously the key and the secret are still loaded in from before. So yeah, while this is loading up on that side, we can see on here, you can look at your history on all requests done. So yeah, I've done a lot of stuff with GPT 5.6 Terra, which was essentially just doing testing for the Klein model itself, things like that. We'll be bringing up Visual Studio shortly after this to give you a look at it. Images and so on will also be stored on here. And now, as you can see, they're only stored for a maximum of 72 hours. So please do make sure that you download this stuff when you're completed with it. So while this, oh yeah, it's finished running already. So yeah, with this done, we'll show you some of the cooler stuff that comes with it. So you get the URL, which has your full image that you can just copy and paste in to check at the end of it, but we also tag it as well. So this image is showing us, no humans, cup, there's steam, a mug, a cat apparently. We'll do a look in a moment. Table, coffee, wooden floor, little cat face, wooden table. Yeah. So you can see it's automatically tagged the image. This can be very useful for if you're essentially having generative content being delivered in your game itself. So if you're allowing people to actually prompt for images in it, you can get this and see, from plain text what's actually in it. So let's say that your game had requirement of, the user has to generate a cat or even draw a cat. You can send that on to our back end. You can get your tags back and you can see, did a cat actually appear in it? Yes, and it's at a confidence of 73%. General, anything that's above about 35%, you can consider as in it. But we're going to find out shortly. Interested to see if this put a cat into the image. On top of that as well, we send back a thumbnail image URL. So you can get the original data, which is going to be the real image, and a thumbnail on top of that. We keep both of them for 72 hours. So if you want to load in, an on-the-fly version into your game, or you just need a thumbnail for any other reason, you can grab it from every single request that comes back. There's no extra cost on all this stuff being done. This is all stuff that comes with every in-house model that we're hosting. So let's do a quick look at this image. Okay, so that's where I got the cat from. Nice. And we got Wowc on top of it as well. We've got our Steam. We've got that wooden table we're talking about. It's seeing that wooden floor. It's a pretty intelligent way of captioning your images and allows for some really creative uses on top of that. So I'm going to show you now actual Visual Studio itself with Klein installed and see how we can get that stuff running. I think we've only about 15 minutes left on this call. So if there is anything you have question-wise, please do throw it onto the tweet that we shared out, and we'll be happy to jump to that. We'll do a quick run through everything on the Visual Studio side. And as we said, if you want to go directly through the Katana API, this is the way to do it. Get it into Visual Studio anything any LLM that you want with the copied LLMs.txt. And look, it's very easy. You can quite simply tell it with the LLMs.txt. Use Nano Banana 2 or use Annie. Make me an image of whatever, or make me a video of whatever, or make me an image of whatever and then pass that image into a video of whatever, and it will do it all for you. Very simple to use. I'm going to show you it now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here just so I can get Visual Studio Code prepared for you. Oh, and that X402, as we said, it's available on, I'm going to continue pronouncing it incorrectly, Meso or Meso. It's also available on Base, Solana, and we have it on Monad as well. I would recommend right now, if you were to use it on Meso or Meso, whichever you prefer, Mezo, if you need the spelling. But if you want to use it with that, and they have been extremely kind in providing a free facilitator for all payments on that. So you won't even pay gas for doing these requests, which is fantastic. So yeah, big shout out to the guys for setting this up with that. They also have their own Discord bot, which is hooked into the Katana API. So if you want to generate images on Discord, join their Discord. They're fantastic guys. I'm going to ask good friend Arfi to throw a link to them under our tweet while I get this set up. And yeah, check them out. If you want to get bridged over there, you've got any Bitcoin that you want to put to work, get it staked, get some MUSD, and use Katana to your heart's content with it. And like I said, if you're using X402, you won't even be paying for gas. On a base on Solana networks, we're set up through, we still have a facilitator running for super low gas payments. That's through the Coinbase CDP. So look, huge amount of options available if you want to jump on with any of them. With Monad, we run our own in-house facilitator, as there are no open facilitators available to us yet, but we've kept, again, the gas prices down, absolutely minimal on it. So pick your network of choice. If you don't have a network of choice yet, I'd recommend giving the guys over at Meso a shout. So let's get Visual Studio up and running here. Okay. And we'll get that shared. Okay, and hopefully you'll be seeing my screen shortly. Cool, I'm seeing it now. So you might see here already, I built up a very quick thing earlier, and this was essentially Klein running the Katana API to build out a water block physics demo, which actually turned out much more impressive than I thought it would be. So I might do that again. For me, it was just a quick way of having a look at, what way will it work under Terra. Now, for some of you, you might just be using something already, like, Claude Code or Codex. With either of those in use, it still works perfectly. You just open Codex and you can tell it to load in the Katana LLMs.txt. It will use it perfectly. If you're looking for the full stack solution, so Klein for Visual Studio Code, an extension that you can, I should be able to bring it up here. Extensions, yeah. So CLINE. This is the correct one. It's got about 5 million downloads. You get that installed, and you can put in your Katana API key and secret into your API configuration, and this will set you up fully. You can connect to any of our models then directly to use as your LLM. If you're looking to go down this route and you don't have your own, say, Claude Pro subscription or a GPT Plus subscription or anything like that, this is a great way to get access to these models at a very low cost. The costs that we're getting routed through right now for the GPT 5.6 models are actually a little bit cheaper than what I'm getting with a Pro subscription to GPT right now. So it's a higher token allowance that you're able to get from it, because they've added an extra 50% off sale through one of the routers that we flow through. So yeah, if you've never set one up before, you don't have Claude Code, and you don't have, Codex and a subscription already set up, I'd highly recommend pick up Klein and just pop in any GPT 5.6 model that you want. So for the API provider, you just put in OpenAI compatible. The base URL is cat.imaginai.com/v1. You'll see that on Katana itself if you just open the LLMs.txt or anything like that. Your Open API or your OpenAI compatible API key is essentially your Katana key and then a colon and then your Katana secret key. So I'm just going to make a new file here to show you what I mean by that. So key OpenAI compat. So yeah, you just put in your Katana key, which might be, cat key public, then you put in a colon, and then you put in your cat secret key. And that's the format for making your OpenAI API key. It's essentially turning it into a bearer for you. Once you do not put in any model ID, again, you can just go on to Katana and pick any one you want, and you just type in the model ID for it. I have GPT 5.6 Terra on here. So if you wanted to swap that to Luna, again, you can copy and paste it straight from cat.imaginai.com. But it's just simply Luna. And then there's Sol that you can run on top of it as well. We'll stick with Terra for this one. Now, we support images through the Katana API, and so does the Terra model. So just tick supports images and you're done. The context window size, I typically set that to the maximum, and you can get that again from the Katana API. Just click on any card and you can copy and paste it in. Max output tokens, you can set that if you want. I always set it to -1, as essentially telling it work until the job is done. And I mean, when I'm working with something like Terra or Luna or Sol or, Fable 5 or, Opus 5 or et cetera, I think that they do a pretty good job at knowing when they're done and they don't overuse tokens. So I think set it to -1. But if you start getting panicked or anything like that, it's been running a long time, you can always, plop in, a hard stop on it or Control and C or anything like that. You can also set the input price and the output price if you want to keep an eye on how much this is costing. So if we just double check on Katana. What was it, Terra price again? So yeah, that's $1, 1 cent for input, and $6, 6 cents for output. 10606. And as normal, everything is done in millions of tokens. Input is generally what you use way, way more of. The output is normally way, way less. Now, for reasoning mode, they can add a decent bit to it. Now, I have this on high reasoning. Extra high, I find, is a little bit better when you want to do something in games development. But anyway, we've not got a huge amount of time left, so let's jump into it and show you how this can work. So let's say access cat.img.com/llms.text and create 2 Python scripts. You don't have to make Python scripts. You can just tell it make an image. You know what? Let's make it a bit more complicated for it. We won't let it make the scripts. We'll just tell it you got to make an image with it. And create an image using any model on high quality setting of a, let's say, a woman with pink hair, cat ears, and a giant sword. Downloaded to assets, generated images. So that is now going to start running. Oh, and I better tell it that, 1 second. So yeah, as you can see, you can always cancel that if you want to, but I'm just going to add to this and say, you can find our end keys under .env. I might just pause my share for 1 moment while I paste in what the actual name of those keys are, so it doesn't have to actually go in and read it. Okay, yeah, cat API key, cat API secret, and cat base URL. So I'll show you the prompt just before I send it off. So we'll reshare this screen. Okay. So generally, you don't want your agent reading your env because you have secrets in there. But if you tell it the keys and say, just read from the keys and pass it into whatever it's been used for, then there's no problem with that. Now, I'm going to have to create a new key on this one, as I believe I revoked the last key a little early, did I? Yeah. I'll just give a quick refresh here as well to show you history. You can see our images that we generated. There's our pink image one that eventually came back, much more cup-like. Oh, sorry, you're not even seeing the screen. You're still seeing Visual Studio. 1 moment, and we'll get you back. We're just going to get a key and a secret. So we'll stop sharing for a quick moment. Go into our env, paste the key, paste the secret. Now we're going to reshare this out now. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, so you can see these keys for a quick moment because they're going to be revoked very quickly. We're going to resume it, let them run. So you can see it's pulling down the full LLMs.txt. From Annie supports UHD. Running it. And this will essentially continue building out this entire thing. We'll let that build for a moment, and I will jump back onto, or I'll share out the ImgnAI browser screen while that's building. just so we're not sitting here staring at Klein for a while. Typically very quick to run. I would say about 2 minutes, and that should be done. So yeah, let's bring up ImgnAI. Let's see if this is the new key. It's going to be revoked in a moment. Please don't steal. We can, as we said, if you sign up for ImgnAI and you throw us your username on that Twitter post with the stream, I'm happy to throw you out a couple of credits to start playing with it. If we look at the history on here, we can see there's our cat image, there's our mug as done by pink image. And just before, or while we're waiting on our script to be finished, I'm going to open up a new session in Studio. So this is essentially your production grade tooling. This is if you want to build something, you want to have a full canvas of everything that you're building out, and you're going for essentially the highest quality possible. You're not looking for one-shots on it. This allows you to run every model at full customization, all on the same canvas, and start joining things together to actually make videos with them. So if we went into our reference images here, it's always going to show you ones that you have in your session. So let's say, we want that cat, we want this cat, and we also want the robot lady. I'll tell you what, we'll stick actually with the pixelated style. We'll get her. And say, create a game title screen called, Cat Adventure. Not feeling too creative today. That follows the style of the attached images. Title should show both cats on opposing sides with their respective coloring, and the woman from image tree in the center. Add a title in a Gothic pixel font. Top center with the text. Let's capitalize it correctly. Sure. So let's see. Let's get this one in wide. We want it to be a title screen. We don't need 6. We can go for 4. And usually with stuff like this, you get pretty good variety in what's coming out of it. So we'll let that run in the background. So if we jump back over to Visual Studio while this is running, and we'll see how our gen is coming along. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, we share it out. So as you can see, it did it. It managed to connect straight into, and hopefully you're seeing it. Sorry, one moment. There we go. Now I'm seeing it. Cool. So yeah, as you can see here, we got our woman with pink hair, her cat ears, and her giant sword. And that was just dumping in an LLM.txt into a model that we're already hosting on ImgnAI. And it downloaded it straight into the folder there. If we wanted to make a game out of that, it's again simple. So let's see, unfortunately, the woman is accused of a crime. We are going to rain lava down on her. So take the woman from image. So usually if you want to do cuts like this, it's kind of best to do it on a chroma key background. So let's see, we might do a quick regenerate on that one. So regenerate that image, but add in a chroma green key background so that it's easy to cut from. Send the existing image to pink image with that prompt in enhanced mode. Okay, so I'm saying, look, regenerate it, but add in a chroma green key background so it's easy to cut from. you know what, a better way to phrase this, and this is a pink image with a prompt, the background for a green chroma key in enhanced mode. Okay, so that is going to run through and get, hopefully this, with a green chroma key behind it, so we can much more easily cut it and use it. And while that's running, apologies, keep jumping between screens. I know we're very short on time. I'm just trying to get through the last of it. It's funny, before we jumped on, speaking with one of our teammates, Alfonso, and he noted that, we're going to run out of time. It's not going to, not be having enough time. And here we are, running out of time, 1 minute over. So let's jump into the actual Katana API again. Cool. And now we've got our game screen. So that was 3 images that we use as reference. And they look pretty cool to me. They did actually come out quite similar. Obviously, the cat's looking a different way in this one. Text is slightly different. Nice variation. They made her smile. That was nice. But yeah, this is a great way to be able to, this is a title screen built out of 3 quick assets that we just threw together with a quick prompt. So we can, let's say we want to take this one and we want to modify it. So again, all possible while within the canvas. So say change it to a realistic style. I'll tell you what, that's going to be quite difficult for Pink Image to do. It can do it, but I don't think it would look very good. GPT Image 2 Max is what I'd recommend for when you're doing a full style change like that. We'll try it with Pink Image, see how it comes out. And we'll also try it with GPT Image 2. So if you right click, you can just go in, reuse your settings. And we're just going to go to GPT Image 2. Obviously, as you can see, it's much more expensive to run it on that one. But this is, a canvas is a great way to be able to, have multiple gens going all at once. So, if you wanted to get other brand new generations running at the same time, or you wanted videos generating at the same time, this is a great way to do it. We're starting to get these images back. And you know what? Pink Image didn't do a terrible job there. I think that's pretty serviceable. Again, this is essentially at no cost. And I've also seen from the Inco guys, I've been given free reign to carry on. So for all of you that are still on with us, you're in for another little while of this. We won't try and take it too long and keep it as info packed as possible. But yeah, for Pink Image, I mean, this again, this is half a cent an image, or might have been enhanced modes, maybe 1 cent an image. Came back super fast. GPT is still crunching it out. But I do imagine the GPT one is going to be fantastic quality. Yeah, there we go. So we'll go with a side-by-side. Kind of messed up on this one. We lost our bottom bar. These two look great. But yeah, you can see, the differences in the models on here. The cats actually came out pretty similar. Now, one thing that's actually kind of a bit of a benefit of Pink Image here is we have it running through our own pipeline, which is, really enhancing the look of the images as they come out and getting it into, nice and high fidelity. So if we zoom in here, you can see that, everything is pretty smooth. But on GPT Image 2, it does have that little, there's a little bit of a GPT burn-in, as we call it, where things look a little bit rough around the edges. But 2 great choices either way. As noted, we can double click it, we can publish it, we'll publish it, maybe we'll get some credits for it. And we can also download it. And you can also download it with this button on here. So we can now use that again in Visual Studio and do a little bit more with it. So I'm going to do a check and see how we are with Visual Studio. Did we get our chroma keyed model, or did it not do quite so well? This again is in a Pink Image, so the half cent model. So we'll have to see how it does as look, as we said, you generally want to do more than one with pink image, as you can get some results that come back, which, it's an iterative model. It's 0.5 an image, and it's just expected that perhaps there will be problems with it. But again, when you're looking at 0.5 an image, very easy to iterate on 4 and pick the best. Let's get it shared out. Here we go. So there's our old image, and the chat Klein. Yeah, so completed. That did a great job, actually. So yeah, let's do something with this. I think we were saying we wanted this person to have lava rain down on her. So yeah, let's run with that. Create. So let's create a single HTML file which serves as a fluid-based simulation. The woman from, wow, that's a long file name. It's the, oh yeah, let's click rename from here. It should be cut into a, or should chroma key background to serve as sprite model with correct physics around her boundaries. We should allow the user to click for lava, red, fluid, water to her. So yeah, I'm telling us cool. Create a single HTML file which serves as a fluid-based simulation. The woman from that image should be cut from her chroma key background to serve as a sprite or model with correct physics around her boundaries. We should allow the user to click to pour lava on her, and the fluid should bounce off her edges and boundary zone. So yeah, it's starting to work on it. So when you're working with any model, you're going to see error executing this a lot. That is essentially like it made a mistake and now it's being sent back to the actual model itself to fix it. And it happens a few times. LLMs typically never get anything right the first time. The output we receive at the end is hopefully right the first time. But when you're actually looking at their reasoning process, when they're going through this and going back and forth, and apologies if you can hear my cat screaming. She's pretending she hasn't been fed in a week. She has been. She was fed half an hour ago. Sorry, an hour ago. She's she's very angry about it. But anyway, back to this. Food can wait for her. So yeah, this is essentially running through this and building out a full HTML file, which is, it's building out its own JavaScript in it as well. It's going to attempt to cut our nice lady here out of this chroma key onto a transparent background, which sometimes you might find easier to do if you just plop it into Photoshop. I have not had issues so far in just putting in a chroma key or asking for any image on a chroma key and telling any model to cut it. Now, it might make a liar out of me this time, but we'll find out. Typically, this is done, this can be done kind of in engine or, in render, what have you, in the HTML itself. But if you want to be exact on it every time, then yeah, you can just grab that chroma key in Photoshop, cut it out. But this should build us essentially a fluid simulation. We're going to iterate on it a little bit, and I should hopefully then be able to love and leave you with the great knowledge of pouring lava on cat girls we've learned here today. While that's rendering out, I'm going to take a quick sip of my tea and try to reassure my cat that she will be fed at some point again today. I know, you ate an hour ago. And did you finish your food? No, I believe she just wanted to stare at me for a while. Maybe not giving her enough attention, too much on you guys today. Her mom was off shopping, so she's left with the spare human. So you can see everything getting built out here. Now, a lot of people nowadays that are getting into particularly Web3 game development, but browser-based game development, for a lot of you, you might never have coded before, which is extremely cool. I mean, if you look at how far we've come in 2 or 3 years, the fact that we have people building games that don't know a single line of code and they're actually coming out pretty good, it's extremely impressive. If you are a developer and you've developed before this, you can essentially watch everything as it's being built out. Usually having this in a bit of a bigger window might help a little bit, as it might allow you to see, is there something in there that perhaps you can catch quickly that you don't want in there, or something that you want edited before it actually goes out. We've got our first version built. Cool. And then, yeah, we can have a quick look through this. I believe it was someone that, excuse me, my cat is screaming to get left down from the table. There you go. Never have cats if you want to do any live streams. It always turns out poorly, unless you have a webcam on and you're playing video games, and it might get you extra views. But yeah, back to this. So yeah, you can take a look through the actual code that's been output on here. This is it's a pretty low amount of code. We can see they have the collision logic in here. So I like this because, I mean, it seems, it's putting in the actual opaqueness itself. This isn't something that really we would sit down and ever write. We would get a library to do this for us. If you're a non-coder, this isn't something that we'd usually sit down and write ourselves. We would get, functions and libraries to write this for us. And I mean, one of the nice things about this is, if I don't need a function or a library, a lot of you have likely seen that, supply chain attacks are becoming all too common. When you don't need anything from a supply chain, when it's just write base JavaScript, it's pretty safe to run. So let's have a look at how the first version actually runs. And as a note, don't expect it to work first time. We're likely going to be reprompting this a little bit. Just opening the integrated browser. It did color pretty well. Click or drag to pour lava. I mean, that actually worked really well. I am very surprised at how well that worked first time. But hey, look, models are getting better day by day. It's even got a glow on the lava. I mean, these collider boundaries are fantastic. So this is more, it looks more like kind of, droplets to me rather than lava. Let's say it, the lava looks a lot. Droplets wanted to be more like a fluid and also have some molten rock in it. So yeah, let's throw that into it and see what it comes back with. See if we can get a proper fluid simulation from it. But I mean, in general, that looks great. I'm just going to start running through this now. So if any of you are building with Inco at the moment, that obviously the guys hosting this stream and hosting the game jam, you can also have the agent here that you're working with and pull down their LLMs.txt. And I believe they have a skill file as well that you can grab from them. If you do a quick check on their documentation, you can grab all of that. But they've got some super cool tools on there, particularly for building out these on-chain games. Now, obviously, what we're building here, there's nothing on-chain here. I mean, you could make it build out a contract that awarded you tokens for how much you melted someone. I don't recommend it. It's JavaScript is very client side. When you're building something on-chain, you typically want all the logic to actually be on the smart contract, or the business logic to be on the smart contract. And anything else then that might be a bit too intensive to run on a smart contract, you want that done on a server. You don't want to rely on anything local for a user to send through to a smart contract that awards some tokens. As one of the quickest things that somebody could do would be to pull down your smart contract, throw it into GPT, and instead of asking it, how can I beat this game? How can I exploit it and get every token from this? So just something to keep in mind. You can, of course, always ask your GPT agent or whatever you're running through client as well. Let's have a look and see how the fluid is. So we've got our rocks too. and my CPU is not liking it. It looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks fantastic. Still a little bit droppy, isn't it? So you know what? Let's tell it. Rocks, not great. Let's remove the rocks. Remove the rocks. Make the lava itself more like a fluid, like water. Yeah, let's go for a water-like fluid on top of it. Again, this is all running through the Terra instance that we have hosted on the ImgnAI API at cat.imgnai.com, which we'll have a look at, see how many credits it costs towards the end of it. But from what I can see here, we are on about 213K, so extremely little. And I believe that's input plus output that just show you incline. Cool. So yeah, working way in. Like Terra, I find is a really nice model in terms of speed versus, I guess, raw brute force intelligence. Like Sol is when you're building something really complicated. Like we use Sol as one of our kind of major systems, or one of our major agents on our backend systems for ImgnAI, and it's it's fantastic, but it's slow and it's very expensive. But it doesn't get things wrong very often, which is very useful. It can be a little bit, I'm not going to say sycophantic, that's not the right word for it, but it can take on a mind of its own. And it can sometimes do a little more work than you asked it to do. A quick example I can give, we had an outdated MD file that we used for an agent prompt, which is basically a support agent, which we now run on ImgnAI. But in this outdated prompt, we had written in it that, oh yeah, studio mode is currently turned off. It's hidden. So if a user asks where it is, just say it's currently turned off. This was an outdated file. Studio was live when we were building this out. So when we began building the harness out, we got, Sol 5.6 to build out the initial architecture. It read through the agent's support file to confirm everything in there. And it said in the agent's prompt that, studio was meant to be hidden. It traversed through the file tree to find where studio was, and it hid it from the front end. So, always test your stuff before you push it. Thankfully, we caught that. We had the full run through it then to make sure there were no further, it didn't take its own path on things following it. But something to always keep in mind when you give it an enormous amount of flexibility and free reign. But yeah, let's have a quick look at how this is looking now with our more water-like fluid. So opening the integrated browser. Very goopy. I like it though. Cool. So just for one last thing, why don't we try and get this to be a little bit more complex? The lava is part of the boundary. It should it should start melting through. Send chroma key image, pink image, and prompt it to create next frames where she's melting. Create images in total, which we can move between as she melts. Actual border. So this is probably something that would be better suited for Sol, as I'm pretty certain when I put this through, something is going to go wrong. I'm giving it a lot to do. So I'm essentially creating 6 images in total, which you can move between as she melts. Just add in here, like animation frames. Her expression and pose should change. Yeah, so if I was to go through Sol, I think this would do pretty well. And I also probably want to go through GPT image for this, or GPT image 2 rather. Probably doesn't need max, but we're going to try it on pink image and just straight through Terra on it. We'll see what it comes back with. Use pink image. Yeah, so we'll see what this comes back with. So essentially this should be, when it's finished, we pour lava onto her, it starts melting through her, and she melts through or goes through different animation frames, which show different stills as she's melting from the lava going through her. And quite like that. Okay, so that's going to start running on that. This is going to probably take a few minutes, so we'll jump back into the ImgnAI browser and have a look at a small few extra little bits while we make that run through. Just in advance, I'm going to say, I don't think it'll work right, but maybe it'll surprise us. But on a higher end model, if you're willing to spare 20 or 30 minutes worth of reasoning on that, I think it would work perfectly, especially if you use GPT Image 2, which would chroma key it perfectly as well. So yeah, let's bring back up ImgnAI and have a quick look at that while that's been built out, and we wait for the great reveal at the end. And I'm also going to do a quick look and see if there's been any questions fired on Twitter. If there has, we'll get to them ASAP. So back into Studio, and I think, what you want to build on from here. Let's take this one that we published. Let's say, no, we don't need to modify it. Maybe make an image from it. You know what? Let's modify it first. I'm going to show you how, we can put in some extra characters on it, sure. There's some characters that downloaded. We've got me, we've got Arfie. We throw J in there as well. So yeah, GPT Image 2 Max. So keep one as the base title screen image. Add the characters from Image 2, 3, and Image 4. Let's paint out characters. Fast. Add 2. Okay, so giving it something a bit more complex. We're saying, this is the title screen. I want you to add these 3 characters and make them playable characters to the rest of the cast. So we're telling it, keep the 3 that are already in there. Then change the art to a 16-bit pixel art style. Then place it on a Super Nintendo game cover box. Put a CRT TV behind the box, and then have gameplay that's showing all 3 characters together in an overworld, similar to Final Fantasy VI. So this is, again, let's try and push it a bit. So we went into modify, so it's going to keep our base resolution or aspect ratio on that. There we go. And while that's running, let's do a little bit more with GPT Image 2. We'll get the 3 of us again. And you know what? We'll add in this one too. Just say make cool. We'll make this one like a poster. So yeah, let's just go with tall. Generate that. And that's done. And now we have our cat adventure. My God, that looks fantastic. It's one thing with GPT Image 2. Sometimes it gives me this kind of like dog snout. Don't like that. But outside of that, I did it again here. So usually with GPT image 2, if you're using some made up creature like this, like a Wossie, you want to tell it that it's got a, a beak, that kind of thing. So we've got our cat adventure video game on the Super Nintendo. We've got it playing on a CRT television behind it. It looks fantastic. Let's generate a video from that. Yeah, let's use it as a first frame image. Let's put it through the full seed down. So this one, we go 720p. So I'm deliberately not giving it much to go off here. Just saying it's an advertisement for this game. I'm going to put in a SNES game, just give it a bit more info. So it's an advertisement for a SNES game. It's showing gameplay on a CRT TV and just saying be creative. Now, sometimes this works out fantastic, sometimes not so much. We're just giving it one frame to work from. So we let that generate. Now, this is the regular Seedance 2.0. It's in 720p, and we're putting it on for 10 seconds. We're getting 2 of them. So hopefully one will be good. But as you can see, the cost does go up on it. That's about $3 to get 2 videos. But again, this is kind of like the highest quality model on the market. You're getting 10 seconds of it. You're getting it at HD ready, and you're getting 2. Again, on other platforms that don't have the same kind of routing that we have, that can cost significantly more than that. So we're getting it to you at as wholesale a price as we possibly can. Again, this came out great. Like if you wanted a poster for a video game, there's quite literally nothing better that you could get than like a couple of lines of text that outputs this level of quality. And GPT Image 2 Max is fantastic, because even added in, it's for PS5, Xbox Series X, and Steam. Not releasing on the Switch 2. Very disappointing. Oh, we got a Switch 1 release on this one, though. That's good. But yeah, look, you can see the quality with this. I'll tell you what, you're coming out on Steam, so we'll publish you. As you can see, you can also download. You don't need to publish things. You also don't need to show off your prompt if you don't want to. Generally, I leave them on. That's, look, the easier it is to learn, the better people get with this kind of stuff, the cooler stuff you get to see then. But yeah, right. So while we're loading up on this final seed dance video here, which is likely going to take another minute or 2, why don't we take a look and see how we're doing on the kind of complex commands we gave into Terra. And I promise once this is done, we will end the stream. You can all get back to your, I'm sure, very interesting lives or busy lives away from watching a man develop video games about burgers and cats. So we'll stop sharing and do a quick check and see we've, yeah. Cool. And let's share out Visual Studio again. Okay. So we can see that it did finish. We've got multiple melting frames. So let's have a look through them first, as they're likely going to be the ones that will, show us how well this kind of comes out. Then we reload the HTML. So that's a pretty good start. 2. Okay, I can see it. Kind of a bit icy, gooey. That's more of an acid attack. Okay, this, I mean, not the worst. I think if we ran that through with Sol, and I think we could have actually gotten that done with Pink Image if the reasoning model were to look at it and say, okay, clearly something went a bit wrong here. It's completely different in 3 frames. But hey, let's take a look at it and see how it went. This is already kind of a bit better than I expected it to come out. Lamp sprite simulation. And we'll open in our integrated browser. Oh, what happens? Not much melting going on. Yeah, so this is something that I think would be much more needed on Sol or a high quality model. Now, it does look like it is kind of starting to cut away at the edges of her. So it could just be a case of, let's turn the intensity up on it. So I'll tell you what, we'll give it one more command. We'll let it run while we check out if our video is complete on Cdance, and we'll give it one more shot. Oh, not working, sad face. Don't say that to your LLMs, it generally doesn't work well. Some issues with build. Sprite doesn't appear to be melting at all, and the animation melting frames. So yeah, doing destructive stuff like actually cutting into an image and stuff like that, that's a little bit more difficult for LLMs to kind of do. It's just a more complex action. But we'll leave it with it and give it one more attempt to do that one. But like I said, this is probably something that you want to do, GPT Sol on, and probably put it on extra high reasoning. I would say about 20 minutes would likely be enough to get it done. So I can see our images, or our videos did come back on ImgnAI. So let's have a quick look at it. Okay, we've got two. Let's look at the first one and see how it came out. Maybe a little too basic. Let's see what this one came out with. Yeah, so this is why I always say, do two of them, because this one pretty boring, this one pretty fun. It still turn my beak into a little dog snout or a cat face, but it works either way. So yeah, last thing we'll do then, let's check Visual Studio Code once more and see how it did with the fix it prompt. And then we'll let you all back to your busy lives. Oh, and of course, we'll do one final check to see what the full cost of running all of that was through the Katana API. Okay, Tara is coming in with the task completed. We'll let this share it out. Okay, let's try it once more. Let's fix the melting integration. So opening the integrated browser. Let's see how she does. Oh, wow, that's a lot of melt. It is working though. You have to give it that. Working pretty well. Let's try it with just a tiny bit. It's pretty cool. So last thing then, we're going to have a look and see, how much did this actually cost us? It's 314,000 tokens. So what's that coming at? I think about 30 cents in total, depending on the input output. And you can compact the task as well if you want to. Cool. Yeah, 214, so that's about 30 cents. I'm saying up here there's $9.55, which I'm assuming is not correct. Are being calculated incorrectly. So we'll do a quick check on that through the actual Katana API, and we'll see how much it costs us. I'll swap my screen over to showing the ImgnAI website. Okay. So yeah, API keys and usage. I hope you've all enjoyed using that key. It's gone. And into our history. Yeah, these are all like very low cost. 3.7, 3.7, 3.3. And there's our images that we did. They're all 2 images each. Yeah. Well, I don't think this actually even would have come to 30 cent. It's very little. We can have a look at let's have a quick goose through. Yeah. Yeah, I believe if we have a look in our keys and have a look at our revoked keys, or even stats, there we go. 24 hours. Keep in mind I used Terra twice, and Seedream Pro we didn't use at all. This is me testing it out before getting on the call to obviously make sure that nothing was going to blow up in my face. But yeah, in terms of credits on here, the total amount of credits I use with GPT 5.6 Terra is about $1.50 worth. And I'm going to imagine that a great deal of that came before jumping onto this particular stream, as I was, putting it through its paces and making sure that it wasn't going to blow up. Check. That is a Katana API in ImgnAI. You can also grab the LLMs.txt directly from the actual API itself, and you can keep an eye on all of your usage on here as well. Documentation will always direct you over to the Katana endpoint, which is cat.imgnai.com. You can sign up through your Web3 wallet. You can sign up through Google. You can sign up through email. You can skip the sign up altogether and just use pure X402 by going to cat.imgnai.com. Cat spelled with a K, cat for Katana. And that is everything, folks. If you do have any questions, we have a community Telegram, we have a community Discord. You can find all of it on ImgnAI.com. You can also build out anything you want on here, publish it on here, earn some tokens. You get tipped. There's been 10,000 Imagine tokens tipped out this week. There's our Telegram. There's our Discord. Please do jump on, play with it. Let us or throw us any feedback that you do have on it. And if you do need any help, as I said, the team is always available. Our Telegram and Discord are here. We've got a great community of people who can also help out with your generations if they're feeling kind. And then we have our extra communities then, such as the guys over at Mizo who have spun up their own Discord bot if you want to play with that, or directly use their facilitator or get used to running X402 through themselves as well. Thanks a million to all of you who stuck around to listen for this entire thing. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you can see what can be done with modern models through the ImgnAI Katana API, and continue building out games with it. And if you do have any questions, like I said, drop into the Discord or Telegram. I'll be in there, as will the rest of the team. Thank you so much for listening in, and thank you so much for Inco for having us on. I'm going to show off our platform to everybody who is interested in generative AI and game development. And hopefully, again, like I said, it's been interesting, informative, or at least a little bit entertaining for all of you. Thanks a million all. And enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the game jam. Hey, I believe you are muted, my friend.
I can't believe I've done that on a stream, man. How many years have we been doing remote meetings and still haven't got the hang of it? Yeah, no, that was great. Thanks so much for that. I hope that was super useful to everyone. I thought that was crazy. We were on the stream yesterday and we were, pointing out that one thing that's hard when you're kind of building with AI on a stream is that you have to kind of send the prompts and then wait, etc. But you kind of solved that by having your cat scream. And I thought that was great for everyone on the stream. That was some welcome, filling the dead space. But yeah, I thought that was amazing. So yeah, guys, we're going to be back here, a little bit later today. I believe that's at 2 p.m. Eastern time. That's was going to be the Tamagotchi stream. And yeah, thanks to Ruster and the ImgnAI guys. Will be you can watch this back, and we're also going to be sharing some links to all of their resources. So yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you guys back here a little bit later for the next stream.